I know you only have 10 minutes to practice, so here's a 10-minute sequence for you to practice. So let's begin and enjoy. I'm going to give you all something a little different to start with. This is where it's great when you have a bolster, but if you've got a pillow, or you can use a block for it, just you don't want it to be, I don't think I'd want, well, I don't know, it might feel okay on that block. But if you have like a rolled blanket, we're just going to put the hips and kind of be in frog pose, hips over the blanket, and then you can put the head on top of your hands, or you can just have one ear. Now I want a little more height than this, and like if you had pillows, like I could take a pillow and add more height to this just to kind of release the back. It's just such a nice pose for the hips. So, and you know, you might have lots of good pillows at home to do this on. A bolster's good. Let me see what it feels like on my blocks. But the idea is that you lift the pelvis, you know, higher than your back. Oh, it's fine on the block actually. Now, if you didn't have any blocks and you wanted to do this pose, it would look very strange, but this is where you would tuck the toes and just keep the sit bones up and just put the forehead on your arms. So it would be more of a restful pose where you've got the sit bones up. But anyway, many ways to try to get into it. So the blocks, we just haven't done this in forever, and I was just feeling like, oh man, this could feel so good. Just releasing anything in the front of those hips, because from sitting in the car, from sitting at the computer, from, you know, whatever else. So if I had two blankets, I would lay across it. I would bend my knees so my feet are out like a frog. And then I'd put the head down either on my hands like baby back bends, or you can put one ear down on the hands for a few breaths. So this is one that you can play with, making the height a little higher if you want. I should have brought my bolster out here to demonstrate too, but so that's a few ways to do it. And when you're breathing, you can really breathe into the back body. See if you can feel the breath kind of moving into your thigh sockets, up into your back side of your body. And then, of course, your forehead softening so that you can come into a little bit of a releasing whatever was going on earlier today, or letting go of what you need to do after we finish class today, because both of you are on completely different time zones. But just giving your pelvis a nice stretch. This is such, the other nice thing about doing this is that if you get your props right, and you happen to have like a little imbalance in your hips, this might actually, or in your lower back, you know, back here, that this might actually help that a little bit. Maybe you've got more tightness on one side, and so this might really help stretch that out. Come to sitting, and we'll do a little bit of boat pose. We haven't done boat pose in a little while, but if you're sitting on your sit bones, we don't need the belt to start with, but if you happen to have one, it's good to have, but you don't have to have one. I'll show you the modifications too. So you've got your heels on the floor, your feet bent, and you're just gonna cup your hands under the the thighs close to the knees. And you're going to lean back here and really engage those abdominals, and then bring the shins up. So you're not dropping the back, you're getting that chest lift when you do this pose. And then by holding here, you can really engage those biceps, so you can get a little arm work as well. And then cross that right shin over the left. Again, if you have trouble, you know, with the knees, you can put something on your knees. And then just walk the hands forward to just release those thigh sockets. Couple of breaths here. And then inhale, coming up. And for number 2, again, you place the heels down. You just lean back, really engaging, especially it's those sides of the abdominals that run up the nipple line. And then you place your hands under those thighs. And this time, you can either stay here with the shins parallel, or if you can, see if you can straighten those legs and keep that chest lifted. And then again, bring that left shin in front of the right. And slowly walk those hands forward. Couple of breaths here. It's more about releasing those thigh sockets in case you created a little tension there. Now for the next one, you can use the belt, or you can still hold your thighs, or you can actually hold your calves more if you'd like to. So if you use the belt, you can put it around your feet and bring it up parallel to the floor. Again, if you're holding the legs, you can actually hold the calf muscles, if that helps, because then you can really work those arms when you straighten the legs. With the belt, again, you really work those arms, you lift that chest, try to really use those abdominals, walk the hands up the belt if you can, sitting as much on those sit bones as you can, and then bend the knees and place the right shin in front. You don't want to, like if you have trouble in this pose might not be such a good idea if you have trouble in your coccyx and your tailbone, especially if you've done something where you bruised it. If you've had a bit of a fall, that's not very fun, but it happens to some of us occasionally. So that's where this pose might not be such a good idea. And then for the last one, you can start with the belt if that helps, or you can hold under the legs. We're going to do a couple of variations if you're up to it. But again, you can always just stay in the first variation here, stretch the legs and then bend them back in. But if you want to go a little bit further, when you straighten the legs, straighten the arms. And then take the hands behind the head and come into halfway, and then come up to full again, and then come over to the right side, so a little bit of side there, and then come back to the center, come to the left side, come back to the center, and then bring the left shin in front of the right, and bring those hands forward. Couple of breaths there. And then slowly come up. And then thank you for being here. And namaste.